Good evening guys, and welcome to Simmy's Fakeaway kitchen. Tonight we're going to be doing a very straightforward a dish. We're going to be making penne alla arrabbiata. A really simple dish, just some tomato sauce with some fried up veg and herbs in it. And takes really quick to make, really simple, really tasty, and makes a nice change from turkey and leftovers. So we'll get going. Doesn't take long to make. I've done a little bit of prep here. To do it, you need your tomato passata, which is just strained chopped tomatoes. You can use chopped tomatoes as well. Just gives you a bit more texture in it. That's absolutely fine. We've got some herbs here, some Italian herbs there. We've got chopped onion, one chopped onion, fairly finely chopped, and I've got a couple of peppers here, a red pepper and a yellow pepper or an orange pepper or something, which I've cut. I've taken the seeds out of them and cut them into sort of fairly fine strips. Doesn't really matter what they look like, just whatever you like eating. The other things that we need are a couple of cloves of garlic. So you should have got in your pack one complete bulb, this whole thing. To get the cloves out, it's good fun. You just put it in your hand like that, keep your fingers out of the way, and just slam it on the counter. And if you get really good at it, you can do it first time. And it just splits all the bits inside apart. And each of these bits is a clove of garlic. So we're going to use a couple of cloves of garlic. The rest of the bulb can just go to one side. Bulb of garlic like that will last. It will stay sort of usable for a fair length of time. So you'll be able to use what's left of that for other recipes as well. And you should also have a red pepper, a chili pepper, which is the sort of long, narrow one. Excuse me. What we're going to do with that is use it just to add a bit of spice to the recipe. What we want to do is sharp a knife as you've got, cut the end off it with a little stalk. You'll see inside there's quite a lot of seeds in there. The sort of oily chemical that makes chilies spicy is all through the chili, so it's in the sort of red skin. But there's apparently lots of it in the seeds. So if you like your food quite spicy, you can leave some or all of those seeds in, but it will make it really pretty hot. If you're like me and you're a bit of a lightweight on the spice front, then what I generally do is split this in half. Just split it in half, and you can sort of see in this side in particular, you can see the seeds, and just get the seeds, the tip of your knife, just cut the bit that has all the seeds out and just scrape the seeds out onto your chopping board. There you go. So you end up with sort of two bits of pepper that are devoid of seeds. Apparently, I'm such a lightweight, I'm scared to do this, but apparently you can get an idea of how strong a chili is going to be if you just touch the end that you've cut off with a stalk to the tip of your tongue. You can sort of, whoo, that's got quite a wee kick to it. That's really got a kick to it. Let's get rid of these, just scrape everything, all the wee seeds onto your chopping board or whatever you're using. Get them off the worktop and carefully put them in the bin. Now, a word of warning, we should all be getting good at this with all the corona stuff, but while you're cutting chilies, don't touch your eyes, your mouth, your nose, or go to the toilet or anything like that with your chilied up fingers, or there will be tears, literally tears before bedtime. It stings like crazy. Once you've done that, what we're going to do is just chop up those bits of chili pepper flesh into nice little chunks, nice little strips. Just carefully, so they look like that, and that should be you. Put those to one side. We're going to fry those up. The cloves of garlic, what we're going to do is chop just the very ends off each side. Just it's a bit sort of hard and tough where it joins up with the rest of its buddies on the stalk. And then there's a very sort of thin, flaky skin on those cloves of garlic. So just sort of peel those off. Get all that muck off of there. Again, scoop up all that mess and just pop it away in the bin. Right, you can get all sorts of fancy contraptions for doing this, garlic presses and what have you. I used to have a garlic press years ago somebody gave me, and pretty sure I spent as much time cleaning out the garlic press as I ever did using it. The way I do it now, flat of the blade with a sharp bit, the actual cutting edge pointing away from you. Put the flat of your hand on the flat of, so you put the clove on the chopping board, put the flat of the blade on the clove, put the flat of the heel of your hand, just where the back of your thumb and everything is, on that, and just push down. Helps if you're tall enough. Do the same with the other one. And what you should have now is 2 squashed cloves. And then just put the tip of your knife on the chopping board, keeps it in place, and just watch your fingers and just chop up and down and gradually just push the chili through that blade. And your knife blade doesn't really move about, and you just gradually shovel the chili through it. And then once you've got it chopped into slices, we want it chopped up nice and fine. So you just kind of use the blade, keep your fingers out of the way, and just get it nice and scooshed up. If you watch a pro chef, which I'm not, do this, they can do it in sort of lightning speed. They're just great fun. But yeah, get the technique nice and slow first, and then you can get a wee bit faster. Don't try to do it fast before you get a technique, or there will be blood and tears before bedtime. Right, so that's us done all the prep for this now. So what we need, cook it in one frying pan. You can use a big pan if you like as well. If you used up all your frying pans to making Christmas lunch and you haven't got right to cleaning them yet, then any kind of decent sized pan will do. Got to get that on the, there we go, get that on. Fairly hot, fairly high heat just to begin with. We're going to put some oil in that pan. I think it says in the recipe, I've got the recipe up here actually. Whoa, things flying about the kitchen. It says 6 tablespoons of cooking oil. I don't think I've ever measured out cooking oil in a pan. I'll just give it a great good glug. So there's a decent amount of oil in that pan. Cover the bottom of the pan, give it a wee swirl around. Looks professional. And what we want to do is just get a little bit of heat in that pan. If you're not sure when it's ready, just get a wee bit of onion, chuck it in, and as soon as you sort of start to see the oil bubbling a little bit round the edge of the onion, then you're kind of getting there. Alongside that, what you will need is something that you can have in the pan, spatula or a spoon or something that's heat resistant, obviously. Penne alla Arrabbiata doesn't taste very good if you melt a spoon in it. Not that I've done that. Okay, so once we're starting to get that happening, turn the heat down a wee bit. In fact, turn the heat down quite a bit. Get your onions in there. Get them moving about. In case you missed that, you want to turn the heat down, okay? What we're going to do is cook these onions really nice and gently. We don't want to fry these like you're going to stick them in a hamburger, okay? We want these to be cooking, frying in the oil, but cooking nice and slowly. And the reason for that is it's about the taste and flavour you get out of the onion. So if you cook an onion nice and slowly, I think the posh French term is sauté it. It changes. Normally if you eat raw onion, it's quite a sharp sort of acidic taste. And if you cook onion, fry it nice and slowly, sauté it, then it slowly sort of caramelizes the onion. And makes it nice and a bit sweeter and a sort of softer flavour, sort of gentler flavour. So that's what we're going to be doing with our onion. We're going to sauté it, fry it gently, just keep moving it about the pan for a wee bit. And what we're looking for is we don't want it to start going really black up the sides. As I say, we're not frying it to shovel it in a hamburger or something. We just want these onions to start going from sort of white and almost clear to sort of becoming a less see-through. Watch my eyes. Remember, we haven't still got chilli on our hands. Want them to be less see-through and start to go a little bit kind of golden brown, and maybe just a little bit, just a tiny little bit darker at the edges. Okay, so we'll shovel that about a bit. And what we're going to do now we've got that running for a wee bit, is we're going to put in our garlic, and our chilli, our chili pepper. Okay, and then we're going to give that a stir around. And again, keeping the heat low. If you need it, if everything's starting to look a bit dry in the pan, you can pop a little bit more oil in. You don't want a massive amount of oil in because it just makes everything a bit oily and greasy. Unless you particularly like oily, greasy food, in which case slam it on in there. But not necessary. Right. Just keep that in the flat of the pan, and we're just going to let that cook. Don't want to go away and leave it for too long. We just want to keep moving that about the pan for a few more minutes. When you do get the chance, give your hands a wash. Remember, we've still got the chili oil on the hands, so what you want to do is cold water and a little bit of washing up liquid detergent. The detergent helps break down the oil in the chili juice and get it off your hands. And cold water, because what you don't want to do is open up the pores in your skin, apparently, and let the oil get in your pores. So I'm going to go do that just now. Again, the chili oil can sort of hang about on your fingers for a wee bit, so just be careful. As I say, if you're poking about with your face, your eyes, your mouth, or giving your nose a bit of a pick, or worst of all, going to the bathroom, it can get a bit nippy. Right, so that's all cooking off. You might find that with the peppers in the pan, the chili pepper in the pan, it can get a little bit kind of acrid catch in your throat. That's okay. This one's not bad. I had a dry run at this the other day and I was coughing and spluttering. I think people would have been expecting me to go away get a corona test. with a bit of coughing I was doing. Right, once we've got that happening, what we are going to do next is put our big peppers, our capsicums, in the pan as well. I have to be honest and say that I think that an authentic penne alla arrabbiata sauce wouldn't have peppers in it. But I have got in the habit of putting peppers in because I like a little bit more texture. So the reason I'm telling you that is, one, if somebody says, oh, it's not a proper alla arrabbiata sauce if it's got peppers in it, they're probably right, but who cares? Unless you're trying to win a authentic Italian cooking championship or something, it doesn't really matter. And I have been known to put, if I've got some mushrooms kicking about that I haven't used, I have been known to chop up some mushrooms. So if you made a Roisin's beef Wellington, sorry, not beef Wellington, veggie Wellington already, and you've got a few mushrooms left over, wondering what to do with them, then sling them in with this if you wish. The great thing about cooking for yourself, I think I said in one of the earlier videos this year, is it's up to you to put in what you like to make it taste the way you like it to taste. Nobody else should be telling you what to do or what not to do with your food. So if you want it spicier than this, you can put in a little bit more chilli, put in less chilli, put in peppers, put in mushrooms, just whatever you like. So we're just going to keep that going. I'm actually just going to pop a wee bit more oil in there. And we are dandy. Now, again, cooking time for this depends on how you like your big peppers. I must admit I quite like my peppers. Peppers are kind of the same as onions. Raw or just very lightly kind of cooked, they can be quite crunchy, but they can have quite a sharp, acidic taste to them. If you let them cook for a wee while longer, they soften up and the acidic taste disappears a bit, goes away, and gets replaced with a much kind of sweeter, a much more mellow taste, and that's what I prefer. So generally I'll let this cook for a little bit longer. So you can do, if your peppers go soft and that's how you like them, that's absolutely fine. If you like your food a little bit sort of crunchier, a little bit more texture, and you like the taste of raw air peppers, then it's fine to not cook them quite so long. Once you're happy with your, again, the main thing I think here is just to keep it on a gentle heat. Keep the heat down. Just frying away gently, not too fast. You don't want things to start looking like they're getting burnt at the edges. Once you're ready, once you've reached your desired level of crunchiness or softness, then bear in mind as well that we're going to put the passata in just in a minute or so, and that'll cook for a little while as well, and the peppers will soften up in that. So you most certainly don't want your peppers to go to mush at this stage, because then things will go a bit awry. Once we're ready, once we're kind of ready for the passata, put in your herbs next. Okay, so your Italian herbs. I really like the taste of basil. So I've actually cheated here, and I've actually put in a wee bit of basil, dried basil that I had in a tub, just to boost the basil. You can actually get fresh basil plants in some of the supermarkets. They're nice. It's got a much kind of mellower taste when you pick the leaves straight off the plant, and it's quite good fun to have. They're not expensive. Most of the supermarkets sell them for a couple of quid or something. The thing with basil in particular is I've never managed to keep one alive. You know, if you buy one in spring, never really helped it to survive beyond the end of autumn. And we had one for a while, which died and went to the bin just the other week. But yeah, good fun. Nice to have fresh herbs kicking about. But dried herbs work perfectly well. Dried basil in there is great. So we've got all our herbs in. The other thing that you can pop in here, if you've got the butt end of a bottle of red wine or something like that, if you've been at the red wine as we have, you can just leave that there. You can pop in a wee bit of wine there as well. Not obligatory. And then again, I'll maybe just turn the heat up a wee fraction. And you just want to cook that for a minute or two. You cook with alcohol. Once you let it bubble for a minute or two, you actually cook the alcohol off it. The alcohol evaporates out, so there's no problem about putting booze in food if you're worried about giving alcohol to kids, or if you're, if you're going to be driving or something like that. Once you've cooked this, once you've let it bubble for a bit, the alcohol's gone. Now join the angels share from the distilleries. But it just gives it a really nice richness if you've got it. So once we're ready for that, last thing we're going to do is get our thing of passata. And my top tip for working with passata is never do it in a white t-shirt or sort of light grey or anything like that. I've ruined more light coloured clothes cooking with passata than just about anything else. So we're actually pretty much done and dusted now. That is going to cook. We just want to let it, obviously we just put some cold passata in there, so it'll just take a moment or two to get the heat through it, and it'll start to bubble, start to simmer away. And we want to let that just simmer up for about another 10 minutes. Tomatoes are, and passata tomato juice, if you like, tomatoes have got that same thing where raw can have quite a sharp taste, quite an acidic taste, quite a harsh taste. And if you just let them cook, it gets rid of that. Simmering them like this just gets rid of that acidity and replaces it with don't ask me about the alchemy of how that all works. I have no idea chemically what's taken place to make that happen. Somebody with a bit more knowledge of cookery science might be able to explain that one. But it does, even if we don't understand it, nonetheless it happens. And slowly, this combination of onions, peppers, bit of garlic, bit of chilli, and some tomato, stirred tomatoes, passata, will come up to be a really nice, rich tomato tasting sauce with a little bit of a sweetness to it, and a little bit of a kick from the chili, obviously. And that is penne alla arrabbiata. Serve it with pasta. As you can see, this doesn't take a long time to cook. It's almost done. Just going to turn the heat down. If you haven't put the pasta on already, you can go on now. The other cool thing about this dish actually is that, like tonight, we're not actually going to eat it tonight, which is why I've got the pasta sat dry in the pan rather than cooking it. I'm actually just going to let this cool, and I'm going to put it in a plastic tub and put it in the fridge, and then it just needs to get warmed up in a pan or in the microwave tomorrow, or it'll keep for a couple of days, and it's ready. So it's the sort of thing, like if you're kind of feeling energetic and feeling in the mood to do a little bit of cooking in the evening or something, you can do it when you've got a little bit of spare time, and then stick it away. And you know, if you're a bit bushed on Boxing Day or whenever, it means you've got a really easy meal. If you've got a freezer, you can make this in bigger quantities. You can double up the quantities, eat half of it on the night, and then just put the sauce away in the freezer or the fridge, and it'll keep fresh pretty well. And then just haul it out, and you've got a nice instant pasta sauce that probably tastes, I'd hope, way better than, you know, anything that you can buy in a pot in the supermarket. Just tastes less gloopy, and it's a much kind of richer, more natural flavour. Getting excited. I'm disappointed I'm not actually going to eat this. And that's it. A bit of pasta on a plate, doesn't matter. We've put penny out. It almost inevitably, a la Arrabbiata sauce tends to end up on penny pasta, but I didn't have any. I don't have any penny, so I've got these, whatever they are, curly things. You could do macaroni, whatever. You know, any kind of short pasta kind of works well. You could probably serve it with spaghetti, it wouldn't really matter, or tagliatelle, or just whatever the heck you fancy, really. Great. And then if you've got a little bit of cheese, a little bit of parmesan grated over it, or pre-grated, whatever, if you like the taste of parmesan, you've got some in the house, that is really nice as well. And that's us. That is our Arrabbiata sauce ready to go. Pasta, Arrabbiata, left a little bit of wine to one side. That's me good to go. Enjoy, guys. Have a good Christmas.